Hello, welcome to Drinks with Ron. I'm Ron. My drink today, delicious RC Cola with ice that I've swiped once again from my brother's house. My tiny refrigerator only has a tiny freezer portion. It does not create ice. And my drink requires ice because I'm not some, pre-turn of the last century caveman or Amish. I'm not an Amish person. I can have ice, and I want ice. I love ice. Ice is fucking... that's one of the best things in the last couple hundred years. I mean, I know they had ice houses and they'd fish it out of the... but that was like, they'd take ice out of the lake in the winter, dice it up and go put it in a cooling house. I don't want fucking lake ice, man. Fuck that. Fabulous technology. The Amish are truly missing out. And as long as I stumbled onto the subject of the Amish, I mentioned before I used to be on the radio. I was an FM DJ for 3 years. People now are like, oh, you can't say nothing, you can't. Yeah, it is becoming harder and harder to say rude things without offending. Yeah, because that's what they're like, you can't say anything. Like, no, you can. You just can't be a dick. And the line of where you have to cross to be a dick has moved in the last 20 years. So really, as long as you err on the side of not being a dick, you shouldn't really have to worry about it. But let me digress. Even 15 years ago when I was on the air, that was a thing that you had to have in the back of your head. This line is moving, you've got a hot mic, this was a 100,000 watt station in a town of like 50,000. The radius on the station was like almost 2 hours it was an hour and 45 south. And these antennas, the towers broadcast north, so that obviously carries further that way. So I'd get calls from Rochester, Minnesota. I mean, I was all over the area. Big station. So what I'm saying is, if you're going to make fun of somebody, there's a pretty good chance that they're in your listening area. But one group that was safe in my estimation, a group that I routinely would crack little jokes at, is the Amish. Why would you rip on the Amish, Ron? Do you have something against the Amish? No, I do not. In fact, actually quite the opposite. I appreciate the Amish. I love what they do. I love their hard-working ethic. Most things about them. Some of your things are a little goofy, You can't use rubber tires on your tractor because that's too advanced of a magical technology. But the internal combustion engine powering it and the refined petrol mined from hundreds of feet in the ground, those are okay. That's not too far. But rubber tires, so the line's kind of arbitrary. Like I said, I see you driving around in a van now, you're carrying a cell phone. Take a shower and get your kid a vaccination, all right? There's certain things. Everything else, though, other than the vaccinations, and maybe zippers. You guys could come along to zippers. I'm pretty sure on a chart, zippers down here, internal combustion engines up here. All right? If we can justify this, you can justify this. But see, this is what I mean. This is the reason I ripped on the Amish, not because I had a problem, but because, look, they'll never fucking find out. If you're on TV or radio and you're making fun of the Amish, theoretically, you should never have to worry about repercussions, because they should never, ever know you said anything. Unless somebody else hears it and tells them, and then, they fill out a letter and with a long form quilled pen and, paper that they've pressed themselves. But I found them to be a safe group for that very reason. I ripped on them one time, and the DJ across the hall said, the Amish, they've got a light in them. And the other jock who was with us laughed his ass off at that statement, but I know what he meant, and I agree. Like I said, they're hardworking people. There's like this inner light that comes from being this up in the morning, working the land type person, and I appreciate it, and I dig that about the Amish. But like I said, you're never gonna fucking find out. So, but now I see them, and depending Amish and Mennonite, some of them ride around. Some can ride in vans. Some can drive them. Some of them can, have cell phones if it's for business purposes, but you can drive down the road and the rules are all different in the next town, in the next thing. So, it is what it is. You can't even make fun of them now because, they could hear it, and that'd just be rude. I'll put it to you this way. There was a story one time. I worked Saturday morning, and AM or fucking morning DJ, time and temperature, time and temperature, time and temperature. Fucking temp 8 times an hour. You know how many times I gave the temperature on the air when I hadn't bothered to go even look and see if the temperature had changed from the last time? I'm just throwing out a fucking number to satisfy a fucking put a check in a box, man. I gotta give it 8 times. So yeah, one of the other things on Saturdays is you would toss it over the news desk if you're doing the AM morning show, or not AM as in the morning show. It was on FM. But if you're doing that, it's time, it's temp, you throw it to your news guy. So I threw it over, and now we go from Z93 newsroom, we go over to the 1410 WIZM news desk and throw it over to Bill Black for a news update. What do you got for us, Bill? Oh, thanks, Ron, blah, 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 blah. Well, the thing that this does is open the door for a little bit of banter. You see, as someone lower on the scale, there isn't really room for the banter. You're supposed to just kind of, throw it to the guy, and when the story comes back, you say, thanks, Bill. 72 and sunny out there, and here's Uncle Cracker. But the story he closed on struck a nerve so much that I had a reaction. I couldn't, it wasn't like I sat there and said, oh, this will be hilarious to say. He told the story and kicked it back to me, and I was still so pissed off. All right, here's the story. About 20 miles south of the town I was broadcasting in, there was an Amish man working in the field. A car had pulled over on the side of the field, went out to the field, and proceeded to attempt to rob the Amishman. And my head just went, and I said, what, wait, what, was the Amish guy out in the field flaunting his material wealth? What, was he blinging, what did the guy think he was going to steal? His fucking work ethic? What? All the man has is what's on his back and the land he's standing on. That's what he stands for. Fuck. Like I said, it's just a reaction. I couldn't fathom somebody would do something so fucking stupid. Yeah, I thought I'd get out of the car and maybe steal his hard-working ethic and his work schedule. That wasn't even at the expense of the Amish guy. That was making fun of the criminal. So it was... But regardless, the next week in my air check, there was a note, stop this cat poop. I'm like, whatever, dude. Somebody gives me a story about a dude trying to rob an Amishman. He's getting both guns, because not only is he a criminal, but he's fucking stupid. Fucking incredibly, impeccably stupid. But now that these... different Amish and Mennonites and other groups have kind of expanded their rules to accommodate technology, there's a chance that an Amish person could actually watch this. So I'd just like to close saying that I'm in fact a big fan. I appreciate what the Amish do. I think they got a lot of shit right. Where I would draw the line is maybe I'd get the vaccinations. I mean, that's where I think I'd go. I would get your kids the vaccinations. Maybe go with the zippers, because, like I said, if internal combustion's fair game, so's a fucking zipper. Just throwing it out there. But other than that, I think the Amish are squarely on solid footing, doing things the right way. And if society ever collapses, they will be the kings of the road, and we will all come begging to the Amish, who I'm sure will be very helpful and gladly take our stupid, unprepared asses in. So, for Drinks with Ron, solidly supporting the Amish, I'm Ron, signing off.